Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Manveer and I am Mama Bear Stitching. I'm on Instagram, but this is my first time doing a YouTube video. So thank you for checking me out. And today this is going to be a big old introduction, my finishes from 2024, and then also the whips I'm carrying over to 2025. So thank you, and just bear with me for any technical issues or like the lighting, the glare. I can see it in my glasses, but I don't like wearing contacts. I always wear my glasses. I'm gonna try and see if I can maybe fiddle with it and not have it show up. I've tried it, but this is the best I could do. So, quick introduction. I'm 38 years old. I live in Langley, British Columbia, Canada. That's on the west coast for anyone who's not aware. And Langley is located about 45 minutes outside of Vancouver. I'm born and raised in BC. I have lived in a few other cities and towns. And yeah, we've been in Langley now for the last 4 years. We were in Surrey, so lower mainland basically for the last 15-20 years almost. I started cross stitching when I was about 11 years old. My mom had bought a kit. It was a really big kit that was a bouquet of flowers in a vase, and it was on like a white lacy handkerchief. And I just remember watching her work on it day after day, and then slowly seeing this just like mess of colors take shape, and then you could see the picture, and it seemed easy because I was not artistic. I did not like drawing. Coloring was okay, but I wasn't too into it. So just watching her do this and then seeing it come out, and I was thinking to myself, that seems easy and that also seems fun. So she bought me my first kit. It was a birdhouse. Just a really small, simple kit. I'm not sure how long it took, but I did finish it. I finished it, and my aunt actually helped me write some lettering across the top, and we gave it as a gift to my grandmother on my mom's side, who is also very artsy, very craftsy. She's always knitting, crocheting, or sewing. Like to this day, she still does that. And yeah, it's just something that's, I guess, on my maternal side. So that's how I started. And I remember once I finished it, loved it. I was still pretty young and immediately jumped into getting like a big kit, which I think languished for so long. It was like in drawers like all throughout my teen years, and I actually did not finish that kit till like late 20s, early 30s. And then I picked up cross stitching again, like on a daily basis, when it was my grandmother's 80th birthday. Her 80th birthday was coming up, and we were trying to figure out what are we gonna get her. And just, it was like, oh, I can make something for her because I know she's going to appreciate it. And I got a picture online of something that she would like. It was big. And I put it in the pick-to-pat conversion, got it converted into a pattern, and worked on it every day for 10 months to get it done because it was big and I had a deadline. I had to get it done. But yeah, it basically created this habit where I had to have something in my hand, and that is what really kickstarted my cross stitching back up again to an almost daily habit. I still have other crafts and hobbies that I like to do, but if I take too big of a break from cross stitch, I just get that itch to start up again. And yeah, so I would say since like 2019, 2020, that's when my habit of cross stitching all the time has basically been going on. Other hobbies include reading. I love reading. That is something I've done since I was very little. I haven't done as much of it lately. I have started listening to audiobooks while I cross stitch, which it's hit or miss. I started off with a really good series, loved it, went through the 3 books super fast, And then I got into another series which wasn't as good, and then I've kind of stopped since then. I like to crochet, which I only just learned in 2023, so it's kind of on and off. I only have one project on the go right now, which I haven't even touched for a few weeks. And yeah, I like to dabble in other crafts. Usually I'll like try it. Whether I continue with it is kind of, I like to try at least. But yeah, I've had my Instagram account since 2020, and probably within the last like a year and a half is when I've become more active in the community. Usually I would just like kind of post pictures and then like other people's, but not really comment or kind of go out of my little bubble. But the last year and a half I've like been more engaging, which, you know, now I've met people, I've talked to people, and it's just really nice to talk stitching with other people. Yeah, so let's see, I wrote notes because I knew I was going to be forgetful, so if I look down I'm just checking my notes on if I forgot something. Favorite patterns, favorite designers. I love stitching fancy ladies and mermaids, and my favorite designer is Bella Filipina. I've finished 4 Bella Filipinas and I'm working on 2 right now. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with finishes of 2024. Now this is gonna be kind of boring because I had 9 finishes in 2024, but I think half of them were gifts for other people, so I no longer have the physical object to show. I'm going to insert the pictures. I watched a tutorial, so I should know how to do this. So again, I'm looking down reading my notes. First finish of 2024 was the English tier by Erin Elizabeth Designs. My aunt was coming to visit and I wanted to make her a little gift, and this was appropriate. My mom's side of the family is all from England, and all of them are still really like die-hard British British at heart people. And so my mom here and my aunt who lives in Brampton have like rooms and so many objects with like the flag and other British paraphernalia, so I knew this was perfect for her. It was really easy to stitch. I had a lot of fun with this actually. And yeah, so I started this January 8th and I finished this January 14th. Did not take long at all. Stitched it on 28 count linen in the color Fawn by Picture This Plus, and I FFO'd this in May. And yeah, that's English tier. The next finish I had was oh, I can show you this one. This is The Soul of the Rose by Waterhouse, and it's by Nikki pattern on Etsy. So I was originally going to go to Stitch North in April, but we had stuff come up. I had to cancel that trip, and I was going to give this away as part of the small exchange. And so I started this on February 18th, finished it March 1st. Stitching it just on 18 count white Aida from Stash, and I FFO'd this in May. So when I saw this, I knew this is how I was gonna FFO it. It's just this little like hollow book that I got at Michael's, and flower. These stickers I added myself just to give it a little bit of like embellishment. And when you open it up, there you have the finished little mini painting. Essentially, this is a painting by Waterhouse, so it almost fit exactly. It was a little bit off, but again, I just kind of added this there. And yeah, not gonna lie, I'm kind of okay with not having exchanged this because I love this so much. The way I finished it was I just backed this onto the acid-free comic book board. So I wrapped it around there, laced it, and then inside I filled it with some cotton batting I had, and I just stuffed it until it sat on top, and then I kind of glued it down. So it's not going anywhere, and it sits pretty nicely in there. So yeah, I really like this finish idea. It's kind of nice, and we have it just kind of on a shelf propped open like this. Yeah, really proud of this idea I just got. Okay, next one. Next we have Mecca, Mecca, Saudi Arabia by Awesome Pattern Studio. So this was a gift for a friend. I don't have the physical object anymore. It was for my friend who had moved away, and I started it in January 23rd, and I finished it July 3rd. This is pretty big, but I really got into a good zone with it, like just kind of outlining and then filling in the colors. At the time I was making this, my friend was abroad and we didn't know when or if she was going to be moving back, and I was making it. We were going to send a cute little care package, send some treats for her kids, and I think within a week or so of me like picking the pattern, finding the fabric, and like starting it, we got news that they were moving back. So I don't know, I guess kind of like a fortuitous piece, because as soon as I started making it, she was coming back to receive it. This was stitched on 32 count even weave in Pearl by Pole Stitch Designs. It was just something I had in stash. You'll have to excuse me, I look so tired. I feel so tired. It's January 1st, it's New Year's Day, and I was out and did not go to sleep till late. And I kind of waffled on whether I was going to make this video, but I didn't want to procrastinate because I felt like I was just gonna keep procrastinating and never just start. And starting is always the, you know, most awkward part. So let's continue finishes. Next finish I have, finishes 4 and 5. I stitched these together, so I'll just kind of introduce them together. One I don't have. It's Canadian Tier and Canadian Smalls by Erin Elizabeth Designs. So I started this July 1st, Canada Day, and I also started it as part of Canada Swaps that was hosted by Karen the Stitching Owl and the 2 Base Stitchers. The theme for the swap was a Canadian designer, and I already had this pattern, and I already knew I was gonna try and do a pillow finish, but I've never done a pillow finish before, which is why I stitched Canada Smalls as well, because that was going to be my practice piece that I was going to keep, and Canada Tier was what I was going to finish second and then send that off, and hopefully it would be better than if I had just tried it first. So I started it July 1st. I finished both of these on July 21st. They were really easy to stitch and not too many stitches, honestly. Stitched it on 32 count linen in Vanilla Latte by Be Stitch Me. So I can show you Canada Smalls because that is what I kept. So this is Canada Smalls, just a bunch of little like Canadian motifs. So yeah, this was my first time doing a pillow, and you can tell the backing fabric I did not line up before I started sewing, and like when I was doing the edging I cut part of it off. It's, yeah, like see the bottom here is like, you can see the gap a little bit. It's not sewn on quite as well. I mean, for a first attempt it's not bad, and I am pretty happy with this. But yeah, I honestly do really like having something like this in my house. I hope it was Lisa of, oh, let's see, Lisa at Forest City Stitching who received my small, and I can actually show you what I received as well. So I received this from a lady named Judith, and this pattern is called Stitch All the Things. It's Darlene Dion Designs. another Canadian designer. It's super cute. I like this, like the way the lace is done, and the back's done really nicely as well. A little like felt heart, and then the charm here. So this is what I received in the Canada swaps, which I have something to say about that, but we'll talk about that later. So we're gonna continue with the finishes. All right, so finish number 6 is Home Sweet Home by Stitchrovia. This is again something I made as a gift, so I don't have the physical object. Started it on August 8th and finished it August 23rd. This was again another really quick stitch, and I just got into like a really good flow. I did change this design a little because the little leaves at the end of the vines were just done in the same brown as the vine and like a slightly darker shade, and I wanted the leaves to be green. I thought it really kind of gave it a nice little extra pop of color. The frame was chosen by my friend who was actually gifting it to someone in her family, but yeah, I'm really happy with the way it came out. This is again stitched on 32 count Vanilla Latte by Be Stitch Me. I think that was like the leftover scrap from the other 2 pieces. And I FFO'd it in September. Yeah, so the next finish I have is Winter Woodland Star by Hello from Liz Mathews. This was part of the Jingle Ball classes that were offered, and I was really interested in taking this class because the pillow finish with the beaded edge looked so cool, and I'd never done it before. And you always, even if you know how to do finishes or whatever class they're teaching at the Jingle Ball, even if you know how to do something similar, it's worthwhile checking out because you always discover like hints or tips or tricks on how maybe you could do it a little bit better or make it a little bit easier to do. So I started this on November 7th, finished it November 19th, pretty quick and easy stitch. Stitched it on 32 count linen in Not Another Sampler by Be Stitch Me, and FFO'd it in December during the Jingle Ball class. So I think after I had attended the class, it took me like the rest of the day to finish it just because the beads were a little fiddly. I did choose a smaller size bead. I didn't want the bigger ones, and it got a little bit tricky to get my needle through, but I'm really happy with it. So I do have this, but it got packed up when I was packing up all my Christmas stuff, and I don't know where it is now. We were just so eager to kind of pack up all our Christmas stuff that it got packed away when it shouldn't have. Okay, next. Okay, number 8 is Countdown to Christmas by Hands On Design. This was another class at the Jingle Ball. They were teaching how you can do counted canvas, which I've always been really interested in. I've seen some patterns, they look cool, obviously don't know how to do it, and they can be pretty pricey because they often use a lot of specialty threads, at least a lot of the patterns that I've seen. So this class didn't use too many threads. It seemed like a really good introduction to it. So this I started during the class because I did not know where to start, how to start, and so watched the class and just kind of stitched on it afterwards. So started it on December 7th and finished it December 15th. And it is right here. There we go. So there were 2 patterns as part of the Countdown to Christmas. There was this one and another one, and I did mean to stitch the second one, but I just didn't end up having time. And that's just stitched on an 18 count mono canvas, just white. Counted canvas is pretty easy to stitch. You don't really need to refer to your pattern too much, so it's kind of easy when you don't want something too counting heavy, I guess. So if ever I get in the mood to do something like that, I might stitch on the other part of that pattern. Okay, and so the last finish I have, I actually finished this just a few days before the end of the year. So this is Welcome to Our Home by FloReen Studio on Etsy. This was started December 16th and I finished it December 28th. Oh, let's do, there we go. So right after Jingle Ball, like the next week, we were flying out for my cousin's destination wedding. And this was the piece that I started to do while I was lounging. I thought I would do more lounging than I did. I did not. So I honestly, on the trip, only kind of finished this part here, the W. That was all I did. And the rest of it I stitched when we came back on the 23rd. So from the 23rd to the 28th, where am I? Yeah, so from the 23rd to the 28th is when I stitched the rest of this. And I actually just FFO'd this today, so January 1st. And yeah, this is for the newlywed couple who are also moving in to their new place soon. Or I guess they have moved in. This is gonna be just like a little housewarming present. And yeah, so with that, that is all the finishes. More finishes than I usually do. I usually only average 4 finishes, but they're usually bigger, and these have been much smaller than what I normally do, which was honestly kind of fun. It was really nice to kind of pick up something and then finish it within like 2 weeks. I do want to add more smalls next year, or I guess this year, but we'll see. Okay, so the next part of the video, we're going to talk about whips and plans for 2025, and those two go together a lot. Plans for 2025, I want to do a no buy with some caveats, but a no buy and a stitch from stash. I have got a bunch of projects that are already kitted up, fully kitted up, specialties, threads, and the beads, and the fabric, they're ready to go, and I kind of keep bypassing them and then starting something else, or I start kitting up something new. And they all are projects that I do really want to do. I just kind of keep, I don't know, I just kind of keep ignoring them, but I really do want to start them. I made a purchase kind of just around Christmas or just after Christmas of a few fabrics and one pattern that I really want to do this year. And we'll see how it works into the plans, because I also want to reduce the number of whips I have. I don't have many whips compared to most people, but they're more than what I want to have right now. So currently I have 6 whips and I want to go down to at least 3. A few of them are really big though, so we're gonna see. I'm flexible, but I do want to lower it. I like to rotate between projects, but I do want to see consistent progress. And 2024 was a little bit frustrating. I mean, it was my own fault. I kept starting a bunch of like smalls, and a lot of them were gifts, or like just joining things last minute, although I should have known about Jingle Ball that I was going to join some class. But every time I started something small, in the back of my mind I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do this real quick, 1 week, 2 week, I'll knock it out, and then I can go back to my project that I'm working on. But okay, and then there's some things I started that I'm still working on, so it didn't work out quite like I wanted. So enough about that. I guess we'll just talk about the whips now. But yeah, plan for 2025 is no buy, stitch from stash, and whittle down the whips so that I can start some of those things that I have in stash. Okay, so the first thing, this is a big one. It's the amazing Marie Antoinette Rose Garden Kaleidoscope by Chatelaine Designs. So, okay, I have to move for this. There we go. Okay, so I started this March 29th, 2023. And it was my first Chatelaine. I kind of just jumped into it. I kind of do wish I had started with a smaller one. There were quite a few hurdles that I kind of slowly kept overcoming, and then I was making progress and like, okay, yeah, I can do this. And then I would kind of hit another little snag. I feel like I'm at a place where I can work on this now. I have everything set up. I have paper copies made of the pattern, so I don't need to keep looking at my computer, and I have a big enough scroll rod. Mapping this out, like getting all the little like concentric circles done so that I have like smaller sections to focus on, was a big thing. So last year I basically did this part here. Let's see. That whole top part is basically what I finished last year. And I finished that part like July or June, I think. And I felt really good. I'm like, okay, yeah, I've got great momentum. I can finish this year. And then, because it was in the scroll rod, so when I kind of scrolled down and I saw how much was left, it was a little bit discouraging. And I kind of had to put it away for a while because I felt really good when I got to here. But then when I saw it was more than half left, and the thing with this particular chatelaine pattern is that it's really repetitive. So like these 2 pots that I've already done have to get done 6 more times. And that gate, which I did not enjoy doing this gate because the backstitching on this for all these vines was a pain in the butt. I have to do that 3 more times as well. And I don't know, I just had to step back from this for a while. I am still really motivated. I want to get this done. It's so gorgeous. And the this like new section that I'm working on is, I think this one has like the bee in it, and it's got some more like darker reds that I'm like really excited about working on. I just needed motivation, which I got because I do know there's a whole bunch of people that are going to be starting their chatelaines today, actually January 1st, and them talking about it's really kind of motivated me to kind of get back into it. So this is a focus for 2025. I want to finish this year. I'm just stitching it on a 32 linen by Zweigart. But yeah, this is something I want to focus on. I want to finish this by the end of the year. Okay, the next one. It's also on scroll rods. This one is Traditional Reminiscence by Lanarte or Lanarte. I started this October 6th, 2023. So this is another project I'm carrying over from 2023. Thankfully, it's the last project from 2023. So this is how it looks when it's done. I have changed the fabric I'm stitching on though. I'm not stitching on the white 30 count fabric that they gave. I'm using all the kit materials though, but that's actually no, that's not true. I did change the gold thread that's used in here because it had a bit of a brassy undertone, which I did not like. So I did change that for, I think, a Krennic that I have. And this is where we are at. So this is stitched on, or I'm stitching it on 32 count even weave in the color Dusk by Fiber on a Whim. And because I'm doing it on this darker fabric, I'm not doing a lot of the background stitches that it's asked for. There's a lot of like half stitches, some one strand, some two, that kind of go all around her in a bit of like a kind of glow, and then it fades into the white back or the cream colored background. But I'm not going to do it for this one. So as you can see, I have finished quite a bit. The whole kind of top, face, that blouse, which if you follow my Instagram, I complained about this blouse because it was so finicky. It was like confetti. So now the part I'm on, let's see, I'll just roll this a little. the part I'm on now is basically like the bottom third, bottom 2/3 of the pattern, which is a lot of stitching. It's almost full coverage. It is a lot of the fun colors though. It's a lot of pinks, it's a lot of blues. I don't know why I really stalled on this. I just kind of like, I like to color complete, and this pink, I was so looking forward to working on it, and then I think I just kind of got lost in the pink a little. It felt like I wasn't making any progress, and so I kind of just kept putting it off. But this is something I want to finish. I'm really close, and I did say to my mom that I would give it to her when it's done, so hopefully I can finish it by Mother's Day. Let's say that. I want to try and finish this in time to possibly gift it for Mother's Day. If not to gift it on Mother's Day, at least have it done so I can show her on Mother's Day. Okay, next is a piece. It's called Gojo Saturo. It's a character from an anime. The pattern is not called this. It's just got a generic name on Etsy. It's by Juststitchcrafts on Etsy. I think the pattern name is just large anime pattern, I think. So yeah, I started this March 20th, 2024, and this was an impulse start. There was like no plans to start this, but I don't know. I think I was just feeling kind of like down and I wanted something that would make me happy. This makes me happy because it's from one of my favorite animes, and he is one of my favorite characters. And I have a really cool idea of how I want to finish it, but of course I need to finish it before I can see if that's feasible. So I'm doing this on a 32 count opal linen in Cosmo by Stitch Me, and not too much done. I've got this in Pattern Keeper, so I know I have 1,838 stitches in it so far. It's gonna look really fun when it's done. It is kind of, it's a lot of block stitching, which is nice actually. Sometimes I like to switch between some of my more finicky projects to like a nice block stitch project, which is why I've kind of like outlined a lot of the hair first before I start filling it in. And yeah, like I said, I have a fun idea of how I want to finish it. I'm not sure if it's gonna work. I'm going to have to finish this before I can tell. I do want to finish this year. I have a serious lack of fun stitches, I will say. And to me, like this anime stitch is fun. And I have a Sailor Moon stitch that I want to do after this. But I want to get this finished first. So this plan for this is to get it finished. I want this finished by the end of the year. Okay, next we have Soul Tropica by Bella Filipina Designs. I started this as my birthday start, so September 3rd is my birthday, and this is what I started. So I have stitched oh gosh, what's the name? Oh, I've stitched Luna Mystica, and I did that in 2020. Loved it. It was my first big mermaid, first big fancy lady. It had so many like blingy threads, so many blingy little jewels, and I loved it. I worked on that really fast, but I was also more of a monogamous stitcher. When this came out, I wanted to start it immediately. I know I got it kit up right away after I figured out the fabric that I wanted to use, but I just kept kind of putting it off, had other stitches, kind of forgot about it for a second. And then I think I can thank Midsummer Stitch, because they were doing a finish parade, like show us your favorite finish. And right away I knew my favorite finish was Luna Mystica. So I pulled it out to show, and then I was just like, why haven't I stitched Soul Tropica yet? And my birthday was coming up, so that was the perfect opportunity to just start it. Okay, so here is the progress. Do we need the board? Just in case. Okay. So Soul Tropica, I'm stitching this on 32 count linen in Glacier Blue by Garibaldi's Needleworks. And so with Garibaldi Needleworks, they do like light, dark, medium versions of their fabric. So this is the light version of Glacier Blue. Yeah, it's got some really fun colors in it. I have hit the point where I'm at the 1/1 skin, because I did Luna Mystica's skin 1/1. I want this one to kind of match. I do like to do 1/1 skin, even though it's very time consuming, but it is really worthwhile in the end. So yeah, I've got the 1/1 skin to do, which has kind of slowed me down. And then also there's like a really big, like this leaf kind of gets repeated here, and it's like really big. There's like 3 greens in it, and it's, I don't know, I'm finding it a little bit difficult to kind of focus on it right now. I do want to finish this year. So this is another one I want to finish by the end of the year. Okay, next we have Autumn is as Joyful by Lilas Studio. I started this as part of Samantha the Huga Stitcher's Sal she was doing, and started this on September 22nd, 2024. I feel like I've been forgetting the years. Basically all my finishes I started in 2024 and finished in 2024. And besides the very first 2 whips I showed, the Chatelaine and the Lanarte kit, those were started in 2023. Everything else was started last year, 2024. So Autumn is as Joyful by Lilas Studio. I have 3,441 stitches done, and that is 12.84%. This, I've wanted to start one of these kind of Quaker, the modern Quaker that Lilas Studios does, the seasonal ones, and I guess the Sal was just the perfect time to start, even though I really shouldn't have started it. But this is really big. So with this, I'm okay with just kind of plodding along and just kind of like finishing motifs. There's no rush. This is the only whip I have where I don't have a set, I want to finish this. This one I'm okay with carrying it over into the next year, because I know when I get into the middle, that might slow me down. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm stitching it on 40 count linen in Vanilla Latte by Be Stitch Me. And yeah, this I just, whenever I feel like it, or whenever my eyes feel like it, I will pull it out and just kind of pick a spot to do. Currently I'm doing this big motif. I know I need to just get it done now, otherwise I might keep putting it off forever. But yeah, it's got some pretty cute little, like just little cute details every now and again. So I am stitching it with the called for, but I am adding this Pirate Robin floss for the letters. I thought that would be fun to kind of, oh goodness. It's basically got the same colors as what's in the design. And so these individual letters that are going to spell autumn and fall, I'm going to stitch that. And then also the phrase that's in the middle, which I am using the alternate phrase that she came out with last year. But yeah, I'm going to stitch that. Okay, so now we're on to the last whip, which again, I was not planning on this. But as soon as it came out, I had to start it, and you'll know why. So this is the Black Water Siren Sal by Bella Filipina Designs. So this isn't even the first sal that Bella Filipina has done, but I didn't think that we were gonna get another sal. And at first I was, okay, I hesitated for maybe 1 or 2 days thinking like, okay, I don't need another start. I was super unsure about whether I was gonna start this. And then again, hesitated for like a day or two. And then when more details started coming out, I was like, I'm going to love this. I have to start it. And I do love this. It's super moody. And I don't know if it's just like the time that I'm in right now, but it fits my mood pretty well. I'm not stitching this on the called for fabric. This is stitched on 36 count linen. Colorway is called Hades Realm, and it is by Under the Sea Fabrics. So it's a gray, it's like a black to gray gradient. And I have it so that the black is at the top, and then it kind of, the gradient goes down this way. So this is kind of like the lighter gray, and it goes darker up into black. Kind of, I really wanted the whole like stormy sky vibe. So the thing with mystery sals is you never know how the colors are gonna be. I have a feeling, especially looking at the next part that's come out. I'm a little bit behind, so this is part 3 that I'm working on, which is this tail. Part 4 is the next mermaid, and I can see that her tail is black. So I don't know if the other 2 mermaids are gonna have a lot of black. That might kind of clash with the black in the sky, but we'll make it work. I think it'll still be really nice. And I do apologize, I didn't unravel this. First of all, there's so much fabric because this is a half yard of fabric, and it's so hard to manage sometimes. I didn't want to pull it out, show you all, put it back in this orientation so I can finish stitching the tail, only in like a few days have to take it out again and move it because the mermaid that's being stitched next is up into, she's kind of like up here in like this area here. That's just a lot of work, but this fabric is gorgeous, and I will show you soon the full fabric. Okay. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention that sal was started October 31st. And it is scheduled to finish. So the last part 9, comes out April 21st. So I am hoping that I'm not too far behind. I have not backstitched anything, and I'm also missing all the specialty threads. There's 4 or 5 Rainbow Gallery threads that they just haven't arrived yet, mostly because of the Canada Post strike. So I still need to go back, put those in. Once everything's finished, I will backstitch and bead at the end. I am hoping that I'm not too far behind so that we can maybe get a May finish on that. Maybe. It is very big, so I'm not sure how long it's going to take me to backstitch and bead everything. But that's it for the whips. So again, just to recap, I basically want to finish all my whips with the exception of Autumn is as Joyful, just because I know Autumn is as Joyful is pretty big and I'm only 12% in. Everything else is pretty doable in my opinion, as long as I don't get distracted and starting things. I do want to, like I said, go down to I think 3 whips or 2 whips. I think I want to keep it that I have 3 medium to large whips, and then I can start a 4th one, but the 4th one has to be a small one. That's the plan. We will see what happens. Okay, so let's go to the next segment. It's going to be community and like mentions. So the first thing I want to go back to is when I was talking about Canada Swaps. Canada Swaps is happening again. Canada Swaps 2 is The deadline to join, I think, because I did go back and watch Karen the Stitching Owl's video, the deadline to join I think is January 10th. So once this video gets uploaded, not that many days left. It is for Canadians only, but it does include Canadians that are living abroad. So if you're not living in Canada, but you are a Canadian and want to join, you just have to reach out to Karen the Stitching Owl, and she will help organize. I think she's going to try and get the Canadians that are living abroad to swap amongst themselves. But I know a couple of like residents in Canada have said that they wouldn't mind shipping something overseas. So the deadline to email her is January 10th. And by March 10th, I think that's the deadline to send everything out. She wanted it done before March break because obviously a lot of people leave around that time, go on vacation. Just a couple other things to mention. The stitch size for that is 6 inches. So that's the stitch size, but that's not the FFO size. You can make the FFO size as big, as small as you want. The stitching size is a maximum of 6 inches. So nothing bigger than that. And then if you want to include some goodies, it's requested that you keep that under like a $10 amount. We don't want to go overboard with that. Let's see. Oh, also, if you do participate and you do send something, just include a card with some details, you know, your name, any social information, so that the person can contact you to let you know that they received it. Information on like fabric used, the designer, just things that people would want to know. The theme for this swap is your favorite color. So if you join, you'll give your information and address, and then you'll also include what your favorite color is. And then whoever gets paired with you is going to receive that information, and you'll get something stitched in your favorite color. It doesn't have to be a Canadian designer like last time, but it is encouraged. So yeah, if you want to join, email Karen the Stitching Owl or go and watch that Canada Swaps video for more information. And then the last thing that I wanted to say is that I also host a community event here in the Lower Mainland. It's called Stitchers at the Library. So I rent a library room for about 2.5 to 3 hours, and it's open to all. It's open to everyone, even if you don't cross stitch. So if you're just a knitter, crocheter, any kind of stitching, if you do like punch needle embroidery, any other kind of embroidery, you're welcome as well. It's just a way for us to kind of get together and talk stitching and then share what we're working on, kind of show off your FFOs if that's what you want to do, get enabled. But yeah, so Stitchers at the Library, it's at City Centre Library in Surrey, and the January date, because I have booked it, the next date is January 25th, 2025, and I have the room booked from 1:15 to 4:15 p.m. It is room 418, so it is the same room that we used in November. If you have any questions or want any information how to get there, just email me at mamabear.stitching09@gmail.com, or you can directly message me on Instagram or here, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. But you do not need to be there the entire time. If you can just drop in, feel free to do that. And it's open to all, beginner, advanced. If you just want to come kind of check it out because you're curious, you can do that as well. If you are interested in attending, just let me know, only because the library wants to know roughly how many people are going to be at the event, and I have to communicate that to them. We can't go over a certain number, but I don't think we're going to be reaching that number soon, but just let me know in case. And yeah, hope to see you there. I'm looking forward to meeting up with everyone. Our last meetup was in November. We didn't do December because December's super busy with holiday get-togethers and just family and friend stuff. So the November meetup was pretty successful in my opinion. That was the second meetup we did. We had a pretty good showing, and I'm looking forward to not only seeing those ladies again, but hopefully seeing more people. Yeah, so drop by, let me know, and I'm looking forward to meeting everyone. So last thing I want to mention is just a very big heartfelt thank you to Arica of Fibers and Floss Canada, who's been just so encouraging and sweet about helping me. I asked her questions and she was very helpful. She has been, she's honestly been a bit of a role model in helping me kind of like just open myself up and talk to other people stitching related. Like I said, when I started Instagram, I was very just, I posted my pictures and I liked another person's picture, and very rarely did I comment. And it was encouraging to have someone who was local to me, which was super exciting to find out. Someone who was local and someone who was very active in trying to get people to participate and, you know, join the community. And yeah, so I just want to say thank you so much, Arica. This has been such an interesting experience. We'll see about the next Flosstube video. I did, you know what, I did enjoy this. This wasn't as awkward as I thought it was going to be. Hopefully I'm not as tired in the next video. Like, my eyes are tearing up, I'm so tired. Yes, we're gonna edit this, I think. I hopefully watched enough tutorials that I can edit this somewhat well. And if I forgot some things, I'm so sorry guys. I'm going to try and write what I forgot to say, try and edit out any of the awkward pauses. And I am thinking that these videos are going to be monthly videos, because like I said, I don't have too many whips, and I tend to be a slow stitcher. I really take my time with it. I kind of futz with the stitching so it lays exactly how I want to. Not that I stress too much about it. It's obviously for my enjoyment, but I actually kind of like the slower pace of stitching, fiddling with things so they lay the way I want to. And yeah, we'll see if I have enough to talk about or enough to show. Maybe in 2 weeks I will come back, but I am thinking it's going to be a monthly, just like recap, like this is what I got up to. So next month I'm hoping for some significant progress on the Chatelaine for sure, because I want to focus on that, especially in January. And then I want to get caught up on the Bella Sal, and so I need to finish part 3, start part 4, and then I think part 5 gets released on the 21st of January. I have a feeling those are probably going to be the only 2 whips I work on, unless I get bored and need to switch out for something else. Okay, I think I'm going to end it here. Leave me a comment, let me know how I did. Let me know if you have any tips or tricks, or if there's any feedback you want to give. And thank you all for just checking out my video. I hope I come back in another month. I'm not sure. Sometimes I tend to be pretty bad with keeping to my schedules and deadlines. But yeah, I will still be on Instagram. I probably will be posting more regularly on that, and the YouTube videos will be more of a in-depth discussion about what I worked on, what I did. We'll see, I guess. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.